Okay, now let's talk about nested loops. Nested loop, as a name itself, when a loop is inside another loop, or when a loop is containing another loop, it is called as a nested loop. So here we have the example of analog clock. So for every minute, we have 60 seconds, right? And for every hour, we have 60 minutes. So hour's hand moves once for every 12 moments of the moment, like minutes hand. And the minutes hand will move for every 60 iterations of the seconds hand, like if you have something like that. Otherwise, if there are only two hands in the clock, so the hour's hand will only move for every 12 moments of the minutes hand. Yeah. So seconds hand moves 60 times for each moment of the minutes hand. For each iteration of the minutes, do 60 iterations of seconds. That's basically our clock. So for example, analog clock works like a nested loop. So for seconds in range, print seconds. So you will be getting all the seconds from 0 to 59. Add a minute variable and nest the loop above inside that loop. So you have for minutes in range 60, for seconds in range 60, print minutes, seconds. So remember, the inner loop will be first executed. So after the inner loop has executed all of its iterations, then the outer loop will execute once. Next, all the iterations of the inner loop will be executed. Next, the outer loop will execute second time. Same thing, all the inner loop executions will be executed. Next, the outer loop will be executed once. So when you are working on your CS circle assignments, there is this flow or visualize option where you can basically, the prompt will show you at which line it is being executed. So when you are working on CS circles assignment, do not forget to hit visualize so that you'll understand much better. So you're first starting, and then is there another value in the list hours? If it is yes, then assign the next value to the hours. And next you are checking for the minutes. If there are more minutes, then assigning the values to the seconds. So key points about nested loops is, as I've mentioned, inner loop goes through all of its iterations for each iteration of the outer loop. That is very important to understand. So for like when you are working in the next slides, like with examples, it will be much clearer. So inner loop completes all of its iterations faster than the outer loops. The total number of iterations is basically number of iterations of the inner loop times number of iterations of the outer loop. That is important to remember as well. So for example, the nested loops are very much used when you are trying to print patterns. So for example, in this case, if you are, let's say you are trying to print this. I don't know how many of you are familiar with matrices, but like it is a good way of just understand by using the concept of matrix. So let's consider this as rows and columns. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 rows, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. But so that is, you have 8 rows and 6 columns. But also remember that you have to start with the numbers 0. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. So when you are writing this program to just print these, print this structure, you'll have the nested loop because you have rows and columns. So for row in range 8, as we have 8 rows, for column in range 6, as we have 6 columns, you are printing the symbol, comma, and equal to. This is used to remove any extra spaces in between the outputs. The end specifier is used to remove extra spaces. So that is the reason you have end equal to quote, no space, quote, and then print. So say this, for the row value in the first iteration will be 0, right? Because the range of numbers, range of 8 will have the list of sequences from list of numbers from 0 through 7. Same thing with the range of 6, it will have the list of sequences from 0 through 5. So the first iteration, the row value is 0. When the row value is 0, the column value is also 0, and it is going to print the symbol. Next, it's coming to the print statement. So when it is printing this 0, 0, that is you are printing the first symbol here. That is 0 row, 0 column. Next iteration, all the iterations for the inner loop will be executed first, right? So next, you are checking if the column has any more values which it can be assigned to. So as we have 5 more values, that is now the column value will become 1. And it will print this. Row value is still 0. Then you will see the output, this one. So third iteration for the inner column will be, or the inner loop will be, column is equal to 2. You are printing this. So now you'll see next. Column is equal to 3, print asterisk, print. Column is equal to 4, print the star, I'll just call it star, next 4. Column is equal to 5, print star, print. And here it will check, like the interpreter will check if there are any more values that can be assigned to the variable column. As the target variable column cannot be assigned to any more values, you are coming out of the inner loop, now checking if the row can be assigned to any more values. As row has more 7 values which can be assigned to, the row value will now be 1. Now with row value 1, you are again starting from column 0. So column is equal to 0, print star, column is equal to 1, print star. So that is how you'll get the second row. Next, after all the inner iterations of the loop for column are done, you are checking if the target variable row has any more values which it can be assigned to. So with every iteration of the outer loop, all the iterations of the inner loop are done. I hope this is clear. If you have any questions with respect to nested loops, please reach out. Same thing, like if you are printing patterns, let's say you are printing this pattern. So again, let's use the concept of rows and columns. You have 1, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have 7 rows and you are starting with 1 column, next 2 columns, 3 columns, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. Right? You are linearly increasing your number of columns. So as the maximum value of the columns is 8, you can just set that as your base size. Base size is equal to 8. So for range, base size, that is your range of 8. And the list of elements that the range of 8 can have is 0 through 7. So for next in the inner loop, you are incrementing the R value with 1. So you are adding plus 1 to your R value. And next printing the symbol and print. So for R, in the first iteration will be 0, right? And so the second iteration, the first iteration with R value being 0, the value of C will be C of 0 plus 1 is 1. So that is C will be 0. So as there are, as C is 0, you are just printing the symbol once. And as there are no more values the C can have, now you're checking for the R value again. So R in range 8. So now the R value is 1. So with R value 1, you are in the first row. So basically 0 row and first row. And as you are in the first row, like this 1 here or second row, the C value will be range 1 plus 1, which is 2. So that is the possible values of C is 0 and 1. So it will repeat 2 times. So you will see 2 symbols or 2 stars. Next, you are checking if there are any more possible values for R. That is, now the R value is 2. With R value being 2, the possible values of C are 0, 1, 2, right? Because it is 3, range of 3. So this will print 3 times. Same thing with R value being 4. I lost the count. Maybe if R value being 4, then the C value will have 4 values, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 values, it will be 5 times. So on and so forth. Towards the end, you are checking if R value has any more values, like after 7, as there are no more values after 7, the program will terminate. The loop will terminate and this will be your output. So if you just want to print this, you can just say for range in for R in range, print symbol. I hope this is clear. Please let me know if you did not understand this, because we'll be working on the lab anyway, and then and also on the CS circle assignment. This will be easy for you to understand then. Okay, in the next lecture, we'll be talking about turtle graphics.